good, the bad, the ugly. This guy, first of all, Ellie De La Cruz. What a joy! What a joy it is to watch him play baseball.
He's talent.
If you are a fan of baseball, just the opportunity to watch this young man play baseball is a blessing. He is, to me. I mean, obviously, Ohtani is one. Yeah. I think he's number two as far as must-see TV.
Yeah. It's funny you bring those two up. Did you see their little exchange at second base?
I didn't.
So I don't know when this took place, probably at some point this year, but, Shohei rips a double, gets on second standing up, and Ellie comes over to him and just touches him to see if he was real.
Oh, my God.
They had a good laugh over it.
That is so funny.
Right now, I mean, with Trout hurt, the way he's been, it's hard to argue somebody over him. I mean, Soto and the kid from
Aaron
Atlanta. Judge has been out of his mind this year. But in terms of like pure athleticism, what Ellie brings to the base pass and what he brings defensively, and he's still so darn young. He's amazing.
Maybe, that's a great – maybe it's just anybody that runs like that, anybody that plays like that. I look at Aaron Judge, and, he's just this menacing figure at the plate. And that's incredible to see him play in person too. But there's something about De La Cruz, the way he moves, the way his size, his speed, his agility. He could just do everything on the baseball diamond.
It's like if J-Mo was playing baseball.
Seriously.
I was say it's like Steph Curry. Steph Curry goes to the three-point line. You're like, it's going in. I was at the game on Saturday. As soon as he stepped up and he's got ready, I'm like, he's about to hit a home run. And he hit it into the same exact spot he hit it the night before.
And maybe it's the way he wears his uniform as well with the extra button unbuttoned and he's flapping in the wind and all that stuff. But Reds beat the Tigers 8-4. Tigers lose the series. And we'll just have to see about Will Vest. Will Vest left with a potential injury. He is expected to be evaluated today, something to do with his pinky.
No updates yet.
Probably not going to learn anything today because the team is off today. They are off until tomorrow when they open up a series. Not Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's this weekend.
No, Tampa Bay is this weekend. They have Pittsburgh coming up there.
So we'll probably learn more about Vest. I think that is kind of a big deal regarding Will Vest. I think this team obviously needs some bullpen, but I went through the numbers earlier today, Anson, and I'm not sure. I wrote a tweet about this. I'm sorry, Pete. I should have told you to grab it. But I'm not sure there's anything that they can do this season that will have me freak out about where the Tigers are, and I'll tell you why. I went back. Last two times that they've made it to the World Series, 2006, 2012. In 2006, the Tigers were 59-29 at the All-Star break, 30 games above 500. You know how they finished that year? 36-38.
Yikes.
Do you think people were freaking out about the Tigers in 2006? They were under 500 to finish the season. They made it to the World Series. What about 2012? The Tigers were 44-42 at the break. They were essentially playing 500 baseball. Do you think the team was freaking? Do you think the fans were freaking out at that point, saying, "Oh, this team's no good. Oh, this team better make a deal. Oh, this team better do this. They're not going anywhere in the postseason." Finished that year 44-32 for an 88-74 record. Made it to the World Series. There are just many different ways. Great work, Pete.
You got it, buddy.
Many different ways to go through a 162-game season. And the stretch they're in, losing Job, potentially losing Vest, losing Cobb all year. I mean, we don't know. You've got Bo Brisky and who's the closer last year that's now Foley, Jason Foley that's in the bullpen. Like these ebbs and flows of 162 games a year, you just have no idea how it'll turn out. They have a huge lead in the division, larger than anybody in baseball, by double pretty much. And barring a total collapse, which I do not see coming at all from this team, like in downright flat-out collapse, I just think it's a sit back, enjoy the ride. There's going to be some ups, there's going to be some downs. But really, as long as they're playing good baseball, Anson, at the end of the year, it's really all that matters.
Well, sure. They need to play good baseball, but at the same point, their rotation, their depth at pitching is really what I feel has separated them from a team that barely made it into the playoffs last year to a team that has, as you mentioned, the largest lead in a division. You look at some of these losses that we've had over the last week, maybe 10 days. I got What Up Doe with Detroit. Gunny, he doesn't have big faith in Flaherty as a true number 2. And I have to disagree with you to a certain degree. I'll agree in saying that, Detroit fans don't get upset, don't think the sky is falling. But to the franchise itself, you have to make some moves. And you had to make some moves even if you stayed healthy. And that's because the Mets, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Dodgers, the Padres, these guys are going to be active. In fact, we already saw what Devers get moved this weekend,
got
right?
moved. Here it is.
So this is going to be a situation that the Tigers haven't been in for 10 years, and that's being a buyer. So as much as, we here in Detroit, we love our young guys and nobody wants to move any of these pieces, this team has to move pieces to keep pace. Not for the first half of the season, but as we watch the trades and acquisitions change the makeup of the contending teams, the Tigers are going to have to keep up. And I think it's going to have to happen in pitching. Reese Olson will be a great addition. I think Gunny brought that up as well. We need to have to get him get healthy. But Cobb was a piece of depth that we thought we were going to be able to rely on. Job was somebody that, I think played over what we had hoped, but they still planned to have him part of that rotation. And as fun as pitching chaos was last year, it was also an undoing. We can't go into the playoffs with a ramshackle, I don't know if that's a word, but we can't have a chaos pitching lineup. We've got to have it solidified.
There's no doubt. And I think, really like to see what Alex Cobb can do. It does not sound like he's close, right? I mean, that is a guy that you sign in the offseason to give a little stability. You're going to experience some attrition to your starting staff. Every team does this year. They've experienced that. Jackson Jobe is out for the remainder of the year and probably out of all next year, too, to be honest with you.
Right.
We know how Tommy John goes. It takes about a year and a half for guys to get going. So they are going to probably need to add some depth in the pitching rotation, perhaps starting pitching and also bullpen. And, you gauge there's no such thing as a perfect roster. And I'm not sure the Tigers will be a perfect roster on August 1st either after the trade deadline. But at the same time, what would your priority be? Would it be a third baseman? Would it be a starting pitcher? Would it be a reliever? Because I think now you do have some holes that weren't holes at the start of the season.
No doubt.
I'm not sure anybody thought that Jason Foley would be a AAA guy the way he pitched last year. I'm not sure anybody thought Bo Brisky would have to be sent to AAA at the start of the year. I'm not sure anybody thought that Alex Cobb would give you 0 coming in to the start of the year.
I did.
You did.
This guy, man.
Okay. So, but you get the point. I mean, the bullpen guys notwithstanding, there have been some issues pop up with the roster and with the pitching, even more so than third base, I think.
You think that $40 million of Cobb and Maeda is haunting the Tigers right now?
Well, I always say this. If not them, then who? Who didn't you get because – go ahead.
Oh, I know. You know who signed for the exact same money
Justin
Alex Cobb
Verlander.
But I know Justin Verlander's hurt right now, but maybe he's not hurt if he's here. I mean, who knows? So.
He hasn't been very good, though, either.
He's been pretty decent, but he's just not,
decent, yeah.
He's not healthy.
Yeah, he's just not healthy. But that was my own. But that was my only one.
You know, I mean, you want to go get a Max Scherzer? You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, we've got to live in the real world too. If not those guys, then who? And
and even though we made the playoffs last year, this, as we saw with Mr. Bregman, this is not a high priority free agent destination. So when you look at a Cobb and you look at a Maeda and you groan. You might have groaned when we signed them. You're certainly groaning now while they're not playing. But, again, this was kind of what you saw out of the Lions when Dan and Brad first got here. This is what you saw out of Troy Weaver when he took over this team. You couldn't get anybody of quality here. You had to overpay for older veterans, journeyman type of guys, and that's where the Tigers were this offseason despite having a great playoff run that no one expected. So this next offseason, I think that they'll have a better opportunity to bring in some real class free agents. But that $40 million flat out sucks, when you're not getting any production out of it. But they'll be in a better place this next summer. Hopefully, though, that they can turn some of these young kids in the farm system into some arms for this run this year.
And then ultimately, too, Anson, Javi Baez, that contract really has come into play here, because if he didn't turn around the way he did, we're probably killing these guys. I mean, his turnaround, Spencer Torkelson's turnaround, is really, I think at the forefront of why the Tigers were able to stay afloat without Parker Meadows for most of the year up until this point. Riley Green's been a superstar. Kerry Carpenter's been great every day for this team, not just against right-handers, but he's playing against lefties too. All that has been a perfect storm, I think, and it's why the Tigers are in the position that they're in with the best record in all of the American League.
Do you think that our offense can just go quiet for a month?
Well, no, and I said that's why I am not going to talk about the Tarik Skubal contract on Friday, and I'm not going to talk about the Tarik Skubal contract anymore, but I will say this. That's why I wouldn't offer Tarik Skubal $400 million, because he can't hit. I mean, go back to the playoff game against Cleveland last year. He did his job. He can't score runs for them.
True.
So you do need a huge bopper in there.
Yeah.
You do need somebody that can put some runs on the board. You do need somebody that can hit the ball out of the park. Now, I know the Tigers have had that this season, and you can't fast forward through the season to get through to the end of the year, but they've got Carpenter, they've got Green, they've got Torque, three guys that have over 13 home runs. That might not sound like a lot, but that's the first time this franchise has had that since the 60s at this point in the season. So that's not nothing.
No. The injuries to the pitching staff, they're a little scary. Truly, though, I am concerned about this offense having a month that no one's really hitting. Torque is a guy that at any day, and we've seen some stretches where he's been bad this season, could really have a bad month. I do believe that this team needs that guy you have to pitch around. And right now, we don't have that bopper, as you called it. So, I feel you on the Skubal non-signing. But again, we talked about this last week. I think that that's important for the faith in this franchise, not just here in Detroit from the fans, but nationally from players that see that we take care of our own, that we're willing to be one of those top payroll teams. And right now we haven't seen that for a long, long time here in Detroit, really since Mike was alive. So I don't know. I think that these injuries are going to be a catalyst to make some moves, and I hope that it's not just for pitching.
No doubt. I want to recognize in the chat John effing Lord. That's how he goes by in the chat. R.I.P. my sister 3 years ago on Father's Day. John, we just wanted to say we love you from everybody here at Woodward Sports, and it's one of the reasons why you just every day is a gift, and you
Truly.
never know what's going to happen on any given day, and our hearts go out to you. I'm sure yesterday and every day really has been extremely difficult to get through that, but there are certain days on the calendar where it's a little bit more pointed. So we want to recognize that, John, and we want to let you know that we're here and we hear you, and just wanted to acknowledge what a difficult day that might have been for you.
No doubt.
Also, Michael DeVries, $5, Anson's chat. I call this Anson's chat because without Anson, there is no super chat here on the Ermanni and Edwards with Mass program. Standing on the ledge, hoping someone will take me off.
Don't do it.
Instead, they keep yelling, jump, jump, jump.
Don't do it.
Not sure what he means by that.
I hope he's joking.
Yeah, I think he's joking.
He was. He had an LOL.
LOL.
I think he was really.
I think he was maybe talking about the Tigers.
Yeah.
Perhaps.